Hi everyone, I wanted to go over assignment 3 and my responses. The racial identity development theory in module 2 made me really reflect on what stage I'm in with regard to my racial identity development. I identify as Mexican and white or biracial. Early on in my childhood, I chose my race or categorized myself as Mexican. And now, because this assignment is a video, you may be questioning why I chose my race or categorized myself as Mexican when I look predominantly white. To give you a little backdrop of where my racial identity comes from and how it was manifested, my grandma on my mom's side of the family is from Torreon, Mexico, and she came to the U.S. when she met my grandpa, who was in the Army at the time. My dad's side of the family is white. However, I rarely saw or visited my dad's side of the family and was heavily sheltered away from them due to their involvement in drugs and alcohol. My dad was a commercial fisherman when I was growing up, so he was often away from home. Because of these two things, I was closely tied to my mom's side of the family, with my abuelita, or my grandma, being at its core. I recall my grandma almost always talking to me in Spanish and teaching me words while I helped her cook in the kitchen. I recall going to church with my grandma on Sundays, and she always introduced me to her friends while she spoke in Spanish. I think family gatherings are an inherent part of Mexican culture. I always went to my grandma's house on Friday nights for dinner and for family time. I recall many of these family gatherings where almost everyone in my family was speaking Spanish. Even though my aunts and uncles would often speak Spanish at these gatherings, one might say in my family that my grandma wanted to Americanize the family so that they would fit into the American culture a little more easily. Due to this, and my mom being the youngest of 7 children, my mom didn't fully learn to speak Spanish like my aunts and uncles. Therefore, I never fully learned Spanish from my mom. So I would say that overall, for me and my racial identity development, I still have feelings of being conflicted, I think you would say. To segue from my racial identity development, my understanding of institutional racism includes practices or policies throughout a whole society or within an organization that are a form of discrimination based on race or ethnic group. And these practices or policies continue to perpetuate an unfair advantage to some individuals and or mistreatment. The only time that I can think of where I was potentially discriminated was when I went to the grocery store with my grandma and a couple of my cousins, and the cashier attendant wouldn't let her buy alcohol. And I'm not sure if it was because she looked more Mexican than me and my cousins, or if it was just an age thing, or both. So I'm not sure. But as you might know, there are many current events across the country, including in Portland, Oregon, involving the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. I would say that this is my first experience at the age of 32 of really witnessing and experiencing institutionalized racism, especially among a part of my own race, and becoming fully aware of the racial disparities throughout my community and our society. Because I present as predominantly white, I would say that I may be more privileged than others in not being targeted or profiled by ICE. But this has still affected me immensely as I speak now. I haven't just heard about arrests or the disappearance of individuals across Portland and Oregon who aren't just immigrants, but also individuals who also look a certain race. ICE has come to my workplace. I have asked my mom to bring her passport with her while she comes up to visit in Portland. because she does look more Mexican. And currently, I stress and worry about my roommate and his girlfriend because they are from Mexico. Because I am an adult experiencing these events as we speak, I would say I'm going through many of Erikson's 8 stages of development, but I mainly feel like I'm at stage 1, where I'm experiencing mistrust of the world and people around me. If I presented as looking more Mexican or having a darker skin tone, I think I would be profiled more as an adult now, and definitely still be at stage 1 of Erikson's 8 stages of development. One way that I have challenged the power structure that is perpetuating this racial inequality is being an ally for part of my culture and race. I've implemented safeguarding those around me who identify as part of the Hispanic culture by running errands for them because they don't feel safe going out into the community. Below, I have linked a couple resources educating others on knowing their rights, preparing individuals for possible encounters with immigration authorities, and legal assistance in your state. Thank you for watching.